knows. It already knows resource. And then we can actually use this for spawning dirt and stuff too. Dirt, debris. Let's do it like this. Yeah. I like to set the values here. So this way if I want to alphabetize it, I can. And then it's still the same values. But since it's the first set here, we'll just do it that way. And then we need to serialize private type, and then we do a public property to get it. We can throw this into its own file. Okay. Spawn points. And we'll set this to player. So now on our service, we can say public void get spawn get one get, and we'll pass the type. Whoa. Okay. See, this is where Copilot did something weird. Spawn. We can use link here instead, so we'll say public, what am I doing? Return. Yep, I already knew that. Not fine. I want to use first or default, where x equals that type that I'm passing in. Get cannot declare instant. Oh, because it has to be static. No, it was yelling at me because it was static. Or, sorry, meaning the function wasn't static and I'm in a static class. That's why it was yelling at me. Now this gets me the first one. We're gonna have to build on this later on. So obviously when I start adding more and more spawn points, we'll have to do like a get random where actually let me think about that. So how would I do that? I'd want to get all. What does this return? I forget. Yeah. See, this is where var comes in again. Enumerable spawn point. Points. Nope, still doesn't like that. It's like one of the few parts where I would say var, because I don't know what it returns. Yep. So then we want to select a random. I guess we can do like to list, as list. No. Getting an iron numerable. No. Do for each. You know what? I'll figure it out later. Just return, go back to the spawn points versus default. Okay. But the idea is I'd want to be able to pick random ones. And also I eventually have to figure out if it was used. So maybe what we'll do, well, you know what? Problem for later. I'm trying to solve stuff that I don't have to worry about. So we'll take the first one that matches the type, which in this case, it's only one, it's players. We'll get that. And then let's go back here. So now what we want to do is spawn service, get. And we will, I guess we could also, yeah, that's true. We could also move, we can say spawn. Spawn. Game object. Player prefab. And what kind of type is it? We can then say spawn point equals get 1 for type if point equals null, no spawn point. That works for me. I like to add where these messages come from. Service spawn. Otherwise, instantiate does it have to be a mono behavior? Instantiate, or can I do game object dot instantiate? I can do that. Okay. Player prefab. Actually, we'll just call this prefab at the position rotation. And this can eventually get like linked up to like a pooling system and all sorts of stuff. So if I go back to my game manager, we say, hey, spawn the prefab at a point that is of type player. Hide the menu, show the menu, enable input. Now this will work. However, the camera's not going to switch. But we're going to test it anyway. Alphabetical people, alphabetical. Okay, so this should work. However, the camera should remain up here. Save. Yep, that's what I thought. But did it not spawn the? It didn't spawn the player. Okay, so let's go back. Now that I have this, I think I'm gonna go back to my main menu. Not the code. Overlay. And I'm going to remove this background. which means I have to go back to these buttons. And apparently add a background. Which was like something in here. Save. Maybe what I should do for the menu overlay too is add some kind of background. This one I wanted. Actually, I can make this the same, right? Maybe I'll do padding. Like padding margin. All right, let's do this. Let's go back. Can I go further back? No, I'm stuck with this. Okay. So, all right, let's put this back. Yes, I am. That is me on Blue Sky. I don't post anything though. I did sign up for it. I have to update my my Twitch stuff. That did work. Go back. Widgets. I really should post on social media. I just don't. I'm terrible at it. I forget to use it. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I feel like I'm too old for it. Okay, I think that's better. Yeah. Oh, you're saying you used to have a good following on Twitter. Okay. Yeah, I used it mainly to follow people. Okay. So now let's figure out why I'm not spawning. It's not giving me an error. Oh, you know why? I know why. I'm so stupid. Because I'm not calling my game manager. I'm just doing this. So I could move the stuff here in the game manager, but I would like to call this. Like, I I'd rather not. I'd rather not have it, but I don't want to make this an instance. I don't want to add another service into the mix. I'm trying to think of a good way to handle this. I could do a service bus or like an event bus. Like, do I need an overall service for managing the game state and moving around? I probably do. I'm debating whether or not I want to do a quick and dirty or something a little bit more elaborate that will probably still be quick and dirty. Let's just, for now, let's just copy this over. We'll just do this all. Oh, because I need the player prefab. I don't want the player prefab to be on the menu. Yeah, let's inject another service. Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like, ooh, I have a pattern and it works really nice and it works really great here. And then as I start to build things and things get more complicated, I'm like, oh, I'm using this. Okay, I have to make a service for this and I have to make a service for this. And it's like, I'm like shoehorning things into places that I'm like, I really like, I did the whole thing in my game dev journey where it was like, okay, singletons, right? Singletons make a lot of sense. You know, there are people that hate them. There are people that say, nope, use them. They're a natural order, natural way to do things. I was on the fence for a while. And then I went to services. So I moved to services. I typically use the server locator pattern. In this particular project, most of my services don't require like startup and state. They just require me to be able to call functions on them. So pretty much all my services here are static. They're static services that I can just register things with, call functions on. They're typically just repos of things. Like I want to, my overlay service is just the overlay service. But then I had this thing where like the equipment service is almost like a mini bus. So I needed to notify things when like the equipment changed. Like when I picked a button and I said, okay, the equipment changed. So you got to like swap out the animation and do certain things. So this kind of is like not really the type of service that like the other ones are and all this kind of stuff. So I think what I need to do to make this clean is, and maybe I'll work on it tomorrow because it's getting kind of late for me, but is to actually have a proper event bus in place. So I have my services, and my services handle certain types of communication. But then for this type of things where events need to be triggered, I need to say, okay, the front end, the player clicked the button, you need to do something, or a bunch of things need to do something. It needs to be a kind of a pub sub type of thing where we're listening for that player to click the button, and when the player clicks the button, the game manager says, oh, I got to do stuff, and I have to, I can take over. So for now, to get this working, I'm going to add a game state service. public static class game state service. And we're going to move this to its own file. And I'm going to say, we're just going to have, this is going to be quick and dirty, so I'm not even going to put these in its own file. I'm going to create a public enum, game state. This is all we need for right now. We'll say public static void set. Private static game state current state. Expose that as a property. We'll use a public static event action game state on game state changed. Using system. And then we'll just say current state equals state. Actually, we'll say if current state equals the state being passed in, we won't do anything. Otherwise, we'll change it. We'll invoke the... I'm sure it's a mess. I'm sure it's a mess. Otherwise, you know, although I will say this, like, I was really impressed. There was a time I tried to learn Unreal, and my game, the actual game I'm working on, not the Game Jam game, but the actual game I'm working on and will eventually actually start working on and stream is more of an RPG. And Unreal has this, it's an add-on, but it was done by the Paragon team called GAS, G-A-S. I think it's like gameplay attribute system or something like that. And it's a really interesting way of coding in Unreal to do things where you, in typical RPGs, where you have like effects and things that trigger effects and effects that affect attributes. So like the player might have an attribute like max health, and then you have an effect that boosts it and it lasts a certain time, or it does things over time, or all these kind of things that you would typically find in like an RPG. It was like a whole robust system to do it. And so like it was kind of giving me a glimpse on like how a professional game dev team might approach a complex problem like that. And the cool thing is it's like built into Unreal now. So if you needed that level of functionality, you can just import GAS and just use their programming patterns, and you have access to this really rich system of attributes and modifiers and effects, and you know, some things gameplay effects like particle systems or sounds, and other things like affect your attributes and all sorts of things. So you can, if you build your whole system around it, it makes it easy to add things and remove things. Sometimes I play Warcraft Rumble by Blizzard, yep, on my mobile phone, and the bugs I see in the UX, I can tell they are the same mess. Yeah. I played a bunch of games where I'm like, I think I know what's going on here. They're doing something weird where they're using this collider. I've definitely had those moments where it's like either it's poor UX or it's like, I know what they did here. I know why this is weird. Okay. So here, we're going to private void on enable. We're going to listen for this. We're going to stop listening for this. Okay, we got to create this function. I'm going to say if. We're going to do... Oh, actually... Yeah, no. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to call start gameplay. And actually here we can say set the state to main menu. So now when we go to our main menu, instead of here, we just say game state service. Delete, delete, delete. A lot less dependencies now. So that should trigger the game state to change. The game state will change and our game manager will detect it. And it will spawn the player, hide the menu. Do that. Let's see if this works. Yay, we have player. Okay, so that we knew the camera wasn't going to work. That's okay. I can still interact with stuff. That's hilarious. All right. So now we got to fix the camera. Now, I think I can hack this real quick and go into the player. Oh, but I think it gets wonky. We'll see. So on the camera rig, actually here, I'll just add a Cinemachine camera. And I will set its target as that. Hard lock. Rotate with target. There we go. And we'll make this 70. And you used to be able to set the priority. I guess you can't do that anymore. Huh. In the new Unity 6, there's no priority on the cameras. So how do I tell it to use this one? Let's look at documentation. Cinemachine. Usually, like in the old ones, there was a priority, and you just like say increase the priority, make this one 0 and this one 100, and that was how you swapped it, or that's how you told Unity which camera to use.
Today we're going to dive into Cinemachine 3.1 and take a look at what's changed in the new version. We're going to talk about the new events architecture and the new spline implementation, not it's worth upgrading your existing version and some new version. Finally, we'll take a look at some of the interesting samples that are super easy. We're going to be looking at version 3.1.1. The samples of Cinemachine has one splines. Come back over to the scene to be called a Cinemachine virtual camera, to just the bare bones, which essentially means the camera is
just a priority checkbox. Did I miss that? I did. Psh. Using default value. We'll just make this 100. All right, and then we'll go back to our default camera position. And technically, we can actually, this doesn't need this anymore, because it's not a first person camera. So I can actually say none, say none. This is here. We can delete that extra game object. Because now this camera is up here and looking this way. And we'll just set the priority to 0. Which I guess is the default. So let's see if this works. Oh, that's cool. I didn't even expect it to do the transition like that. But it zooms in. I forgot. Yeah. I forgot it would do that. Where's the setting for that, though? Is that on the main camera, Cinemachine Brain? Yeah, ease in, default blend. Let's just make it a second. We could also make it a custom blend, which maybe we'll play around with. Oh, I forgot. We have to set this. We have to set the attenuation object. I think it's using itself for right now. That's cool. Oh, commercial break. Okay. Everything looks like it's still working. Okay. All right. All right, everybody. I think I'm going to call it a night tonight. Oh, we have commercial break. I'll wait for the commercial break to end. Then I'll say I'm going to bed. Let's bring up our project plan here. Okay. We're making progress. A little bit at a time, but we're making progress. I still need to come up with some design pillars for the game. So let's see. Audio. So I need to make sure I assign. Actually, I don't think I need to do that. I do need to convert sounds over to use spatialization. Not all sounds are using that. We need main menu UI. That is, oh, I already had a card for that. Crafting. Let's change this to tool selection UI. That's actually complete. Main menu's done. Gameplay. We kind of made the level a little bit, or this is at least in progress. Make them build some placeables. So much stuff, and this is even the stuff that I want to add. Let me think about this. What were some of the stuff I talked about today? So we said that we got some of the UI done, right? We do want to. I see the archives. Oh, I do want to change footsteps over to be animation based. Right now they're interval based, and I eventually want them to be based on an animation because I want the player to have a body. So add body to player. I want to make it so that when you carry an item, switch to hands, make hands carry the item appropriately. Unpack boxes with items to deploy. Torch to carry and drop. Okay. I was thinking that you can have a torch. I'm actually wondering if I should keep the tool wheel or I should make it more like a traditional survival thing with a hotbar. Because I like the idea of being able to, like, you have your tools, right? You have your tools. They're always on you. You don't have to craft them or upgrade them or drop them or anything like that. They're just at your disposal. When you level up, and actually I should add this, add level up or level up system to earn or buy upgrades to tools. So the idea is, like, you're gonna earn money for completing the task. Oh, I need a task system. Which means we need a task UI. We have to add the job board. Oops. System. job UI, job board. Yeah, because this is like, it started as a game jam game, even though I didn't finish it. I mean, I eventually want to get it to a point where I can just upload it to the jam page and let people just play with stuff, which I'll probably do this week. So I'll continue to work on the game. I'll finish the settings page so people can adjust volume. I will finish the credits page so I can properly credit M Audio, who helped me with the audio, and list all the assets that I used. Maybe just clean up the level a little bit, add some like blockers so you can't walk off the map, and then just upload it. Say like this is like where I was going with the game. Let people play it, whatever. I don't even know if I'd be able to do crafting. I'd love to be able to do something like you can craft 1 or 2 items with the stone and the wood that you get, just so people can see the basic mechanics, and then get that up to the jam page, and then from there, like actually take it towards the more full game that I want to build, which has like town and shops and villains that are going to hire you to like renovate their dungeons and all sorts of stuff. So some of this stuff sounds complicated. It's not for the game jam version of the game. In fact, like there's really no gameplay there because I just didn't finish it. But I did want to show it off, like show off what I kind of was going for, and then continue to work on the game from there. But all right, cool. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I will talk to you guys, I guess, or I'll see everybody next day. Hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving, if you're in the US, and catch you guys later. Thank you.